Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. One of the principal trouble sources of any law enforcement agency is circumstantial evidence. Too often, coincidence and chance conspire to point an overwhelming finger of guilt at an innocent person. The Highway Patrol encountered just such a case the morning that Stash Irwin, a wanted criminal, drove through the gates of the Apex Plastics Company.
Not one word. You, stand on the floor. Come on. Stand on the floor. All right, you, come here. Come on. Fire up. Her ankles, too. Gagger. Okay, around the back. Come on, around the back. Turn around. Turn around!
Okay. All right, mister, pull it up there. You have to wait now.
That's a gray convertible.
No license number. All right, I got it, thanks.
All right, we know the car was headed east when it left the plant. Could have doubled back. We can't take any chances. Put a roadblock here. Another one here. And one over here. Alert all units to look for a gray convertible. Let's go out to the plant that was robbed. Did you talk to the guard?
No, he's still unconscious. They're moving him from the dispensary to the hospital in town. So all we know is what we knew before. It was a gray convertible. Did find out one thing, though. The guard managed to fire 2 shots before he passed out.
In other words, we have no way of knowing whether somebody was waiting for him in the car or not.
But Mr. Stedman and I both told you the holdup man worked alone.
Yeah, Miss Fowler, when you saw him, he worked alone. But this doesn't rule out the possibility somebody else was waiting in the car. Now, there are a lot of things that don't add up. How did he get in the plant in the first place? As far as I understand it, you can't get into this plant without a company pass.
Well, of course, the gateman can pass a visitor through if he gets an okay from someone in authority.
Well, we'll know the answer to that and a lot of other questions when the guard regains consciousness. How much did he get?
$28,000.
For you, Mr. Matthews.
Oh, thanks. Listen, Matthews.
How's the neck?
Much better, thanks.
Oh? All right, fine. Get it to ballistics as soon as you can, will you? Thanks very much.
Right.
It's going to be quite a while before we can talk to the guard. He's in a coma.
Somebody sure left you stranded out in the middle of nowhere. I can take you as far as Farnsworth.
Suits me fine.
You all right, buddy?
It's nothing. Just a cold.
Sure you're okay?
It's nothing. Let's go.
Mister, I don't care what you say. You're sick. I'm going to get you to a doctor.
Look, will you forget about it? I'm all right, I tell you. Okay. So now you know. Just keep driving. From now on, you're my personal chauffeur.
Look, take the car, why don't you? Just let me go.
No dice. I need you to jockey me around.
When you're finished with me, how do I know you won't kill me?
You don't, pal. You don't.
Drop that gun and get out of the car. Drop that gun. Turn around. Put your hand on the top of your head. Oh, am I glad to see you? I'll bet you are.
You expect us to believe, Mr. Siddons, that Irwin, badly wounded, was on the highway trying to hitch a ride?
Yes, that's what I expect you to believe.
You also expect us to believe that by a strange coincidence, you, an employee of Apex Plastics, the plant that was robbed this afternoon, gave Irwin a ride, coincidentally in a gray convertible. A gray convertible that's been identified as the car driven by the persons or persons who shot the guard.
Can I help it if there's so much coincidence? It's the truth, I tell you, every word. I never saw Irwin in my life before I picked him up on the road. Why, I wasn't anywhere near the plant when the robbery occurred.
No? Where were you then?
I told you. I went house hunting. Drove around, looking at homes.
Did you go back to the plant?
No, I didn't. I had no reason to.
28,000 is a pretty good reason.
I'm innocent, I tell you. I don't know why you keep hammering at me. It's easy enough to check my story. Ask him, why don't you? Ask Irwin. He'll verify what I'm saying. He'll tell you how it was.
If Irwin does any talking, it's going to be to a higher court than the one that tries you.
What do you mean?
Irwin's dead, Mr. Siddons.
2 hours of intensive questioning failed to shake Warren Siddons' testimony. While in the hospital, the wounded guard was fighting a grim battle for his life.
Won't budge. Still sticks to his story that the first time he saw Stash was when he picked him up on the highway.
Did he explain how Irwin got in the car? Or the fact that a witness said whoever shot the guard was driving the same make gray convertible?
Well, assuming that there were 2 great convertibles, it's possible maybe something went wrong with Stash's car and he had to get rid of it.
You really believe that?
I said it's possible.
He had the gun when we picked him up. The paraffin test proves he fired it. How about that?
Well, Siddons said he struggled with Stash and it went off during the fight.
And, of course, Stash isn't around to contest that version.
Well, what do you think?
Look at it this way. Stash needed inside help. Someone who knew the layout and could smuggle him inside the plant. Now, I could have ridden in with Siddons, maybe crouched down in the back of his car. Stash would have had to pull the actual holdup alone, because even with a mask, there was a chance that someone in payroll might recognize Siddons. So Stash got the money, came back down, got in the back of the car, and they started to drive off. When the guard heard the alarm go off, tried to stop the car. Siddons gunned him down. The guard managed to get off a couple of shots. And as he did, Stash had reared up to see what was going on and caught a slug. The rest we know.
And the money?
Well, they probably ditched it somewhere before running into the roadblock. Plan to come back and pick it up later.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's only one thing.
What's that?
No matter how much circumstantial evidence we've got, he's innocent until proven guilty. We've got to build a case against him which leaves no room for doubt.
That means a complete check of his story, step by step against the facts.
That's right. Now, the area where Siddons claimed he picked up Stash Irwin, have it gone over. Tell all units to fan out. Keep their eyes open for any sign of the car or the money.
I heard it on the radio, I tell you, on the newscast. Stash is dead. They're holding Siddons on charges.
What about the money? They find that too?
No mention.
Just our luck. After everything had gone perfectly, this had to happen. They say Siddons had no alibi.
That's right. Why, what are you thinking?
That patrol guy. He implied Stash might have had inside help. But the finger could point at me, and I wouldn't much like that. Since Siddons is already in the fire, maybe you and I had better do what we can about making sure the police don't run out of coal.
Yeah, that's the spot, all right. Siddons was definite about that sign when he picked Stash up.
And a car should be right around here if there was a car. Stash couldn't have walked very far in his condition.
Yeah, that's right. Have the men keep checking. Tell them to spread out and check further up the road. If you want me, I'll be at the Apex plant. Is this Siddons' desk?
Yes. Imagine all that time working with him, eating in the same cafeteria, and he was just waiting for the day to pull off that holdup. Why, I even let him drive me home from work one day.
Well, this is nice. A handicapping sheet, Barry Mutual tickets. It's worth about $2,000-3,000.
On his salary?
You want to see Siddons' time card?
Yeah.
You know, if he claims he punched out at noon, he's lying in his teeth. See for yourself.
According to this, he never punched out at all.
Well, he probably intended to punch out, but when the guard
Wait a
stopped
minute.
him...
Could something go wrong with the machine? Could it fail to register?
Look, as payroll supervisor, those machines are my department. I check them daily.
Thanks, Mr. Stedman. Excuse me.
Hello?
Relax, honey. I just wanted to tell you it's okay. I was able to get into our friend's house. Everything's taken care of.
Not one thing you've told us is checked out. Not one. The investigation failed to turn up any trace of the missing money or another gray convertible. Then there's this matter of your time card here.
I don't understand that. I distinctly remember punching out.
These were found in your desk. It's a lot of dough to spend on horses with your income.
Oh, I don't know how they got there. Somebody must have put them there by mistake. I never gamble, except maybe a quarter on the office football pool.
I suppose this was somebody else's mistake, too. They were found in your house, packed and ready for a trip.
They're not mine. I never saw them before. I don't even own any luggage.
They're packed with your clothes.
I can't help that. I never packed them.
We also found these travel folders. Mexico, Central, and South America. Also an airline timetable with a flight underscored tomorrow night, 8 o'clock to Lima, Peru. We checked with the airlines. They've got a reservation in your name.
I don't know anything about it, I tell you. I can't understand any of this. It's like some horrible nightmare.
Siddons, how do you expect us to believe you in the face of so much evidence?
Yeah. Mr. Johnson, come here. That might be it. There's much too much evidence. It's all too neat. Only a chump in this case would deny his guilt, either that or an innocent man.
The lab said there were no prints on the luggage. Looked like it was wiped clean.
But regardless of that, we got enough on this guy to convict a dozen men, but anybody who's smart enough to plan and execute a job like this, well, he'd try to alibi himself, wouldn't he?
Could be. Somebody's trying to frame him.
Ask him a question. You did arrange for a passport, didn't you?
No.
If he's planning on taking tomorrow night's flight to Lima, he would have made passport provisions, wouldn't he? Matthews. What? When was this? All of it? Are you sure? Right, thanks. They found the money. It was in a culvert about 3 miles away from where Siddons said he picked up Irwin. They also found the gray convertible. Gas tank was punctured and the front seat was covered with blood. Well, that puts you in the clear. Sorry we had to put you through the ringer like this.
I know how it must have looked, all that coincidence.
Now we've got to find the guy who was trying to frame you.
Frame me? I don't understand. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. But why should anybody want to frame me?
Well, there's only one reason I can think of. They want to set you up as a patsy. Divert suspicion from them or him. Now, look, tell me, who's got access to your desk? Who can fool around with your time cards?
Someone I worked with. Someone I maybe even counted on as a friend. But that could be any one of several dozen persons. How'll you know which is guilty?
If we catch him, he'll tell us. Greed strapped a lot of guys, you know.
How do you mean?
Well, right now, we're the only ones that know that the $28,000 has been recovered. Now, with your help, we'll use it as bait. That and you.
I've got a personal axe to grind here. This day's experience has aged me 10 years. Somebody's going to pay for that.
Mr. Siddons, I've got an idea.
I just heard it on the radio. They found Stash's car. The police are convinced now that Siddons was involved, but not actually involved in the holdup and shooting. They let him out on bail.
He'll be back in after his trial. With all the evidence we planted, he doesn't stand a chance of beating the rap.
But he's out now.
So, what are you building?
The money. They still haven't found the money. $28,000, and it's just like the earth swallowed it up. Look, Stash is dead. Now, the only other person in the whole world who might give us a clue to where that money is Warren Siddons.
The cops already grilled him. If he knew anything about the money, he would have told them.
Maybe not. They aren't such mental giants, those cops. Maybe they overlooked something.
Maybe.
Look, all I know is we took a lot of chances to get that money, went to an awful lot of trouble. I think it's worth taking a few more risks.
I can't question him, honey. He knows me.
He doesn't know me. Mr. Siddons? I'm Margaret Mason, Mr. Siddons, the Cornwall Insurance. The Apex Plastic Company is one of our clients. I'd like to talk to you, if I may.
Please come in. You sit down, please.
Thank you. You see, unless that stolen money is recovered, the Cornwall Insurance is out $28,000, so you can well understand our interest.
I see. Will you excuse me a moment, please?
Of course.
That's it. 2150 to headquarters.
2150. Go ahead.
Contact DMV. Get me a 28 and a 29 on license number 2 X-ray 49010. Repeat, 2 X-ray 49010. 10-4?
10-4, 2150.
Mr. Siddons, did Mr. Irwin ever get out of the car? You know, he might have found an opportunity to hide that money if he did.
Yes, we stopped near a culvert about 20 miles from Farnsworth.
Did you ever tell this to the police, Mr. Siddons?
Mm-hmm. But they didn't find anything.
Gloria Burgess, 2017 Fernleaf Place, 10-4.
The police checked the culvert, but they didn't find anything. Yes, Siddons is very sure of the directions. Well, what can we lose? All right, I'm sure you have it straight in your mind. Okay, I'll meet you there in 15 minutes.
Miss Burgess, you're under arrest. Don't worry about your boyfriend. We'll keep the date for you. Let's go. We'll drop her off at the county jail on the way. Strange place to check the payroll. Don't be stupid, you're covered.
Get your hands up.
Look, I was only trying to help. I thought you may have missed something.
Yeah, sure, I bet you did. That's what Miss Burgess thought, too. Okay, take him away. Next week's case, handled by the Highway Patrol, is a very exciting one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, the careless driver isn't driving his car. He's aiming it. This is Broderick Crawford saying see you next week.